Greetings, Namaste, Monson Biswakarma here right now at Audio Advent, and today we bring you Matribox II, a multi-effects processor for guitars by Sonicake. And yeah, this has come to me as it is, so let's unbox this together. A very simple looking cardboard packaging, cool graphics, very EVH like, and this is how it comes. Power cable, USB, and there's some extra cushions for your pedal here. Okay, there's this very brief kind of manual or specifications. So this is a company that is providing very budget pedals, and I hear they are great value, and I really wanted to try them ever since I got my eyes on them. And yeah, this is it. Matribox II, all the ins and outs over here. Express and pedal input, return, aux in to hear from your headphones while you're playing. Left mono, right, phones in, out, USB. Sorry, the phones are given separate, and the aux in is for you to play with your track. And there's this USB through which you can access to your interface, and there's this power cable. Yeah, everything looks pretty robust. And as always, what I'll be trying to see is how much this device can sort of accompany me through my own sounds, and if it's good enough for me, it's good enough, I guess. Let's start. So right now we have just switched on the device, and this is the view you get. In order to change the view, what you can do is press this button, and now you're inside the signal chain, and you can see that there are 12 blocks all in total, and there's cab, there's amp, and all those components are right here within these buttons too. You can switch the delay on and off, you can switch the reverb on and off, and you can even change the place these knob with this knob. And what this does is changes the effects uh, within the reverb. It's changing the kind of reverb it is, and this switches it on or off. And it's the same with anything that you do. Let's say you go to the cab, on and off, you select the cabinet, you select the position, and let's say you want to edit it. This is where you go. Right now let's exit, and this is for your drums, the global, and the master volume is right here. Now one thing that could be tricky for the first time users is when you do this, you can go to the tuner, and the tuner is pretty decent. And now let's exit this, and when you do this, you go into the looper mode, and you can loop your sounds. So, and you get this pedal which is pretty nice and feels pretty solid too. In your global settings, you have your IOs, the USB audio, record level, record mode right, record mode left, and your amount of weight that you can control. The foot switch, expression calibrate, expression pedal when you are entering a new expression pedal, MIDI, display, auto cab, global. And when you're seeing this bright dot right here, there's two more dots that it can reach to. You just have to click this, and it can get you the access to the next page. So all in all, that's the controls. Let's go to the sounds now. So the sound you heard right now is something that we tweaked within the device. For our own conveniences, what we have done is selected 3 to 4 presets like this and made our own tweaks to them. On this one, 1A, I have renamed it as M Clean. This is somewhat of the kind of clean that I use when I'm live. Slightly overdriven, that's why the screamer is on over here. And you could just switch it off too. And what you hear is a completely clean signal, but I like it slightly overdriven. The amp seems to be Soldano 100 clean, and we have paired it with a matching 412 from Soldano, and there's warm delay, hall reverb. So all the controls that you want whenever you're selecting each component, let's say the reverb, you get the controls over here. And if you want to switch the trail on and off, that's an option here. And there's ton of reverbs, as you can see, ton of delays, ton of modulations. So let's switch on the chorus for a bit. Everything, considering the price this comes with, everything that you are hearing right now, if you're exactly hearing what I'm hearing, is pretty decent. Like, is it a good songwriting device? Definitely. A lot of times when you're writing songs, you want those sounds that you imagine in your head to be rightly approachable exactly when you need them, and this solves that pretty much. Let's go to the next sound. This is an overdriven kind of Marshall. So right now what you're hearing is the Marshall with a fuzzy kind of overdrive. Not exactly fuzz, but it's just an overdrive to color it a bit, to tighten up the sound. And there's a matching cabinet placed here. You can see all the controls right here, and there's no reverb or any kind of modulation or delays that have been switched on. Very old school, very crisp. Now let's hear it with some vibrato that we have put here for the controls. These are the controls that we have put the vibrato in. Let's increase the volume a bit. Let's hear some delay. You can hear the trail, and even those you can control over here. And just like that, let's move on to the next sound. So far, I think when you compare these kind of devices with, let's say, little higher end devices, a solid kind of competition for this one would be the HX1 and the Pod Go, the smaller one that has recently come out. I think with pedals like these and with companies like this to trying to push the boundary, this sits well with whatever they're trying to do for the price. And you don't have to go like $500 $600 if what you want is a good songwriting device which you can record and which you can play through day in and day out. And again, just like I keep saying, it's a golden age for guitar players. Everything that we need is pretty much available in all kinds of budgets, and this just makes you happy, a really good time to be a guitar player. Now let's go to another sound. The next we go to 15A. This is what we selected for the metal sound. And what we have here is an Ingle kind of amp with a matched Ingle kind of 412 cabinet. You can see the controls over here. This is the tweak that we have placed. And to tighten up the sound, there's a screamer kind of pedal placed. And what you can easily do, if I have not shown yet, you can change these blocks. You can change the position of these blocks as you want, which is pretty convenient. It's just a drag away. And yeah, let's hear how this one sounds. We have a delay on. It's just written pure. I guess it's some kind of analog delay. And there's room reverb. So you can hear the delay pretty good. Now let's just do some chorus here. For the controls, you can see that these are the controls that we have placed this with. You could easily change anything that you would want. Let's say we want to go to vibrato. This is easily doable. And for the controls, again, you just play with these. And you always have this option to sync or not. And there's this volume drop because of the change in pedal, which is again pretty normal. Now let's get rid of all the extra things here and just hear how this sounds with a good riff. One of my favorite things to do with this amp is the chorus. Let's switch it on, decrease the depth a bit. Again, in the devices that are in this price range, the kind of dynamics I'm hearing right now within this room and the kind of range this has, it is really spreading good. That's pretty good for the price. Again, like, what do I say? Like, there's nothing to complain. Sonicake, pretty good job over there. And the only gripe if I had to mention, I think there's a little bit of power that could be pushed a bit. But again, I don't really know if that is a problem considering the price this comes in, because you could always go higher end if that's what you are missing. Now, let's go to some. But again, do not confuse me when I'm saying that it lacks power. I'm saying this lacks power only in sense that the when you compare this to the reactions of the real deal, like the real amp, or even let's say the higher end stuff like quad cortexes. Now, but overall, it has, in terms of recording, it has all the power you ever need. Like, it would not be able to do that if there was no tonal power or tonal range. Like, everything you can pretty much hear everything cutting through. Like, all the strings, even the higher strings, they really cut through well, which is again a good signal. And these days, the benchmark has gotten so tough and so competitive and so high that all the pedals that come out in this range, this is like the bare minimum that they have got to nail. Like, if you want your product out there, you want it to be playable, you want it to be hearable, you want it to be recordable, and this pretty much checks out all those boxes. So do not confuse it when I say that it does not match the kind of power that I'm looking for. It is pretty apt on its own. And if the power part is all you want, you could always hook it up with a power amp when you are jamming with it. Something like this over here. Now let's go through our final sound, which is a clean sound. 26C. Let's not save whatever, or let's just save whatever changes we made to the previous amp. The saving option is very easy. You can go here and then click it. With this, you can make name changes, and here you have your pedal selection options, like what you want to do with your pedal and stuff like that. Here you have the same thing for controls, and with the knobs, like, everything is pretty laid out. And although it does not look too fancy, it gets the job done, which is all you could ask for. And here's your drums. You can select your drum tracks over here. That's not what we'll do right now. So let's just hear what this clean sounds like. For reference, this is what we have set up. Gain, bass, middle, treble, and there's this bright switch that we have switched on. You could just switch it off if you don't like what it sounds like when it's on, but right now we have switched it on. That was with tremolo, tube, delay, and a spring reverb, all into the signal chain. So overall, what do I think about Sonicake? I think it's a pretty solid device for the kind of competitive price range it is in, and it's pretty much intuitive. And yeah, for the kind of budget it comes with, you could rehearse with it. It could be a good backup. It is definitely a really good songwriting device. The only gripe I would have with it, if I had to mention any, is the labeling issue. There's not much written on the paper it came with, and there's no practical manual with it. But and also the labels that are placed in the device itself, there's no label for loop or tuner, which you can access with it. When you hold the control and the patch up button, you can control the loop, and when you hold both the patch buttons, you can access the tuner, things like that. And why are things like that important? Sometimes you might not have the time to hook this up into your desktop or laptop and then go through everything with the software in it. A lot of people just like to buy the pedal and then experience it as it goes. And I could access it because in a lot of pedals, that's how it is done. But it's not written over here. So for a little bit, although it was just a couple of minutes, there was a period of confusion. So one solid advice to Sonicake: maybe label the device better. Other than that, I could not really find something to point about in a negative sense, because what can I say, man? Like, it's a pretty solid device, and definitely looking forward to check more from Sonicake. And yeah. If you're hearing what I'm hearing, it sounds beautiful.